Hey, y'all, God bless you. Welcome to broadcast on tonight. Just wanted to get in here pretty quick. I'm not going to be on here very long at all. But y'all let me know if you can hear me. I'm doing both these episodes for, this is 2-in-1. This is also for Christian television as well as on Facebook. And I really wanted to get into the thick of this thing. With all of the stuff that's happening in this world, and I will tell y'all something now, and I was really I was aware, but really when I did this post, I thought about doing this post actually this past weekend, and this week has just kind of flown through. A lot of stuff has happened, but when I wanted to do this post, it was in regards to mental health, and when I look at this thing, mental health, it had nothing to do with the subway shooting. That just kind of happened, there in New York. And I was just like, whoa, all of this stuff here, this is constantly happening. And there's a systemic, now we talk about systemic racism, and there is that. But also there's institutional failures that has taken place over time. And when we start looking at this thing of mental health, nobody wants to address that issue. Y'all, we kind of almost just hope it'll go away. If you'll allow me to say that, we're just hoping it'll just go away and maybe they'll get some help. But what prompted me to do this is this right here. And this is from personal experience. I was on a call this weekend and I had to deal with 3 cases of mental illness, and where I saw families fail, as well as, watch this right here, as well as a system fail. Justice system, the hospital, all of this stuff just failed. The facilities that could have helped these individuals, and they wouldn't. And a lot of it came down to, and I want y'all to grab this, a lot of it came down to, hear me, it's because of where they came from and who they are. We can say what we want to say, but when we start looking at mental illness, and especially in our communities, who does it impact the most? Who do you hear about it most? It's always going to be people of color. Now, y'all can say what you want to say, and y'all can think that I'm sitting up here saying this and saying that. I'm talking, this is flat out real. What's up? What's going on, Doc? You're welcome to get in on this thing, man. But listen to me, y'all. So I went to a call, and this I had to deal with this twice. First call was a 16-year-old boy. I want y'all to hear this. So we get and all that day I had seen him around town. And I'm going to tell y'all what prompted us to get there. The boy just he was just walking down the street. Watch this. Took all of his clothes off. Just walking down the street. Took all his clothes off. For no reason. Now watch this right here. This child lives with his grandfather, supposed to be with the mama, but mama got some issues going on. Y'all already know what we're talking about. When we start looking at this thing, y'all already know she's somewhere with the dude. I'm just calling it what it is. They doing their little thing. And after much digging, trying to figure out what happened with this child. Y'all, I'm gonna be off in a few minutes. I just want to just deal with this, but listen to me. After much digging, come to find out that this child was a crack baby, a drug baby. So that goes all the way back to birth. Now let's fast forward 16 years later and what has happened and what is going on. This boy decided he's going to take all his clothes off, walk down the street. So the grandfather says, listen, man, I can't deal with this. He calls and he began to talk to me, and he says, listen, my wife, he has a wife there, and she has her own mental issues. And so he's having to deal with the wife, watch this right here, and a grandson who should be living with his mom, but his mom don't want to have anything to do with him. So what she does is she takes him over and gives him over to the grandfather. I want y'all to grab this just because the boy said, I want to be over there. Family's failing. So here we are, get called to the house, and I'm dealing with this young man, and I'm talking to him and he's looking at me with a blank stare. Okay. Father pulls up. Daddy pulls up and says, ain't nothing wrong with him. He just wants some attention. So hold on. The way he's looking, this is a blank stare. This is not, man, I'm sitting up and telling you, he got to fighting with somebody at school and he know exactly what's going on. Ask him who he got to fight and all of this. And so again, I'm sitting up here thinking, dude, you still missing it. There's something wrong with this child. So watch this. Here we go. I asked the boy, I said, what's wrong with you? He doesn't say anything. He looks at me for 30 seconds. Then he answers the question. I want y'all to grab this. After he answers the question I asked him what's wrong. He said, I was born gay. Now, it has absolutely nothing to do with the actions that he's doing. So why you taking your clothes off? Why you doing all of this stuff? Because I was born gay. I said, who told you that? Myself. All right. So now having conversations with himself, loud conversations with himself. Watch this. CJ, if you're still on here, man, I know you know what I'm talking about with this, but y'all watch this. So eventually he gets to the point where we had to go ahead on and handcuff him, okay? Because he wouldn't stop moving. Started getting to the point where he wanted to become almost violent. I want y'all to grab this. So I had to handcuff him. So watch this. I called, now this is why the whole point, I called the youth court judge because at this point, although, y'all hear me, I didn't want to arrest him. All I did was detain him so that he does not hurt anyone or hurt himself. So I have him in handcuffs. Watch this right here. Call the youth court judge. Ask the youth court judge, says, listen, man, I'm not concerned about arresting the child. I need him in a facility away from here until we can get some answers. Let's get him, y'all watch. I need to get him looked at, assessed, no big words. The judge says no. Unless he commits a felony, I want y'all to grab this. Unless he commits a felony, this is the only way that we will hold him in this detention center. So y'all, at this point, I go through the roof. So you're telling me that unless this child hurts somebody, innocent, unless this child, I want y'all to grab this, kills somebody or someone does something to him, that's the only way that you will house him. So I had to use a different resource. So that's a closed door right there. I said, I tell you what, let me do something else. So I called the hospital. And I tell them what's going on with the child. And I said, listen, I've got to make this happen. We got to take another look at him. Youth court won't touch it. So I get him to the hospital. By the time we get him to the hospital, all the way to the hospital, he's singing and dancing in the back. He's taking his clothes off again. I just want y'all to see this. Handcuffed from the back. So watch this. Completely out of control. Completely out of control. Hitting his head against the window, trying to bust it. All right. So that right there was enough for me to make it suicidal. Y'all hear me? I'm doing everything I can to fix this so that I can get this boy looked at. Mama and Daddy talking about ain't nothing wrong with him. This is all he used to do. And he just wants some attention. Get him to the hospital. The attention that the mom and dad was talking about eventually ended up with him being placed in restraints, medical restraints, on a bed, unable to move, while he's trying to bite. I want y'all to grab it. He's trying to bite the IV because they're getting ready to give him some meds. He's getting ready to try to bite the IV. So completely, y'all just hear me, just gone. I leave him with Mama and Daddy. Y'all hear me? Mama and Dad, now I leave. Mama and Daddy says to the doctor, he's okay. He's all right now. He is calmed all the way down where he should. He's got meds in it. He's supposed to. He's all right. Let's do it. We can just take him on. Watch this. A failure of the system. Here we go. I have a justice system which has failed it, in which I understand the liability and what they're talking about. And then there's the but. He can hurt somebody or somebody can hurt him. Secondly, a system which is designed, we know that there are issues there. We have him in medical restraints. He's been given medication to help bring him down. And then, when you look at the parents, knowing that the parents themselves are not capable of taking care of the child, because we wouldn't be in this situation now had they had been. 3 failures by 3 different entities all at once. The child ends up at home a few hours later, hear me, and the next day ends up giving hell to the granddaddy and everybody else in that house and had to be rearrested. Now, mind you, I did what I had to get him the help. This time, though, another set of officers went by and they had to arrest him because he was trying to burn the house down. Watch this. Rather than the same youth court system, which should have at this point had taken him, but because he's dealing with mental issues, you don't want to have to deal with that. So you say we can't do anything. I'm saying all that to say this right here again. Failures of the system. Nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody wants to address this. So here it is. I have this boy who is 16 years old. Now, I'm going to put it out there so y'all can get it. What if he kills somebody? What if that's your little niece, your son, your daughter, your 3-year-old, and this boy kills them? He's coming from a family of no affluence, nor influence. So that means they ain't got no money. They ain't got nothing. So, and more than likely, here's the likelihood of it. Unless you just come from a family. Well, let me just go and put a pin in it. Since I'm there, may as well go and put a pin in it. Make sure you got life insurance for your loved ones, even the babies. All right, so what if he kills somebody and they don't have the life insurance? So here we are now stuck dealing with the situation where all 3 institutions let this boy down. And the boy don't care. You know why? Because he doesn't really even know. I want y'all to grab this, man. Another situation. All this is in one weekend. That was one day. Another day. Same type situation. An older lady. Younger than I am. But here's the thing. Doing drugs and got some issues, mental challenges already. So all of a sudden, she started pouring bleach all on her head. I want y'all to grab this. Trying to bust it out. The day that she was pouring the bleach on her head, watch this, y'all. I had an opportunity to call EMS. She agreed, conversation between us, me and her, that she would go. I had EMS to transport her to the hospital. By the time she gets to the hospital, watch this right here. In her mind, when they get her there to the hospital, she just got out and walked away. Now, EMS, doing their job, will not, nor the hospital, because she is competent. Here's the crazy part. Well, I hate to use that word in this situation we're talking about, but watch this. She's competent. She knows her name, social, everything. Y'all, a lot of these people that are sick like this mentally, they know the information regarding themselves and others. They know what the day is. They're that smooth. I told them at the hospital, I said, she's smooth, but she needs help. When she got to the hospital, guess what she did? Walked away. They allowed her to because they were supposed to. Later on, the next day, same lady got a call on the radio, Sunday, busting out all the windows in the house. That was enough for me for a violent act. Got her in handcuffs. Watch this right here. Took her to jail. The system itself said, unless, watch this, because of COVID restrictions. Y'all, come on. Ain't nobody doing COVID no more. We can get off the COVID restriction stuff. The jail said because of COVID restrictions, and not prior, watch this, authorization to bring them. She busting out all the windows in the house finna try to kill this woman. What authorization do you need? She needs to be housed. They told me no. So rather than me bringing her back and letting her go, because that's always going to happen. Y'all, that has happened to her multiple times. She'd get arrested. They knew that she knew they would not hold her. So she just walked back. She'd be right back out free. I took her to the hospital. Y'all, I'm trying to do the thing that I know to do. Y'all hear me? If you don't know anything else, you don't do anything else. Get crisis intervention trained. Get that. It always helps. FBI took me through a lot of classes, and one of the hardest classes was crisis intervention. And so I learned a lot being a part of this. And so, y'all, here I am. I transported to the hospital. And because of the violent act, the doctor said, I'm putting her under medical. Watch this. Watch. So that automatically gives me that medical assessment that gives her 3 days at a housing facility. Here's going to be the bad part. In 3 days, she's back out. We have a failure of a system. 3 entities. Family. Family don't want to have nothing to do with her. And when I say nothing, the daughter, the sisters, nobody wants anything to do with her because of her mental state. Nobody wants anything to do with this 16-year-old child because of his mental state. The guy on the subway, everybody saw it. Y'all saw it. All I'm saying is this right here. We have entities in place which should be able to assist our loved ones. Y'all hear me? It should be a church. All they want to do is pray. I'm glad you're praying, but we need the right folks, city leaders, supervisors. Y'all already know what I was going to get on here and deal with. Y'all already know how I was going to deal with this. Here we are, patting folk on the hand. Here we are in positions, get out and do all of this stuff for elections, and then get right in office and fail the very constituents, the people that we're supposed to take care of. That's why my faith is not in the system. Why do I continually work in a justice system? Why do I continually work in y'all hear me, in a community system that's failing? Why do I continually work in a church system that's failing? Because somebody's got to be right and talk about this thing and call it what it is. Y'all can, listen, man, y'all can have all of the religious talk you want. I'm not on here for religious talk. I'm on here, y'all hear me, I'm on here crying and pleading, saying, please address these issues at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, when you have the opportunity. Deal with it. Don't let these folk just go on by, y'all. Don't let them just go on by. Man, oh God, y'all hear me. Y'all hear me. And Dr. Jones, I know you're right, man. We're going to have to come back. We're going to have to finish this, you and I, Doc, because we're going to have to deal with this because I know, and y'all, he is a licensed doctor dealing with this very stuff that we're talking about. And what he just said, lack of training, knowledge. We have got to help each other. And I'm going to tell y'all, to be going on for the last few minutes, it's only happening. I'm not saying it's only happening to the black folk, but hear me. The numbers are disproportionate, and it is affecting African American black folk more so than whites. You can say what you want to say, but I don't know the number. Dr. Jones, if you got the numbers, please plug them in here. But I know this for a fact. Now, what do white folk do? What are they going to do? Y'all, they're going to take them privately to private doctors, and they're able to do that. These are public institutions. Hear me. Government institutions that are getting federal dollars to help and assist people with this stuff, and they're not doing it because they're lazy and don't want to do it. And so they would much rather tell you that we cannot help. Get these sheriffs out of, y'all hear me, get them out of these seats. get these chiefs of police, get them out of these seats of government, your supervisors, your board of aldermen, these mayors, get them out and get the people in that care about these folk. Because it does not get any better. Y'all hear me? We're dealing with a system that nobody wants to deal with. So when I come on here, no, I don't go live every week the way I used to. You know why? Because when I look at it, I'm like, okay, y'all rather see somebody twerk. Y'all TikToking. And I just don't have the time for it. I just don't. Because there's so much more that's happening. And our people are dying. And nobody cares. Nobody's saying anything. Because the only thing that we want to do is just say, well, I hope. And then the church talking about, well, let's pray about it. About what? So, this same video that you're seeing Facebook is being put on Christian television. I'm hoping pastors look at it and deal with this. And stop waiting on an incident to happen. And then when it does happen, the only thing you do is put a Band-Aid on top of it. Rather than dealing with the real issues, you're going to have to open that wound up and go ahead on and talk about what's really happening. Oh, God. Oh, man, y'all got to grab this, man. We've got too many open wounds. And all we're doing is just wipe it down. Wipe it down. Okay, it's going to be, let the air get it. Yeah, y'all from the old school, y'all know how we used to do. We let the air get it and get a scab on it and rather than, but end up the thing is infected way beyond the skin level. We have got to deal with these real issues of mental health. Y'all can say what you want to say, you can get mad at me, but it is impacting our black families and our black folk. Y'all, it's in our communities. We don't know how to deal with it. And y'all already know. Come on, man. I was listening to Steve Harvey. It was funny when he said it. No, it's Bernie Mac. I'm sorry. And it was really funny what he said. But y'all hear me, man. He said we used to put them folk that had them problems. They put them in them back rooms. Y'all remember? And it was funny when he said it. But it was the truth. All of us had one of them family members back in the day coming up in the 70s and 80s that they kept, him back in the back there. Y'all know, and, gave his food through the door and everything else. He didn't come out the room much. She didn't come out. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. All I'm saying is we have got to get to the point where we start dealing with this. Dr. Jones, man, we're going to talk about this, but you're going to have to come on to Mississippi, bro, from Jacksonville. Just come on to Mississippi. I'm going to get together a whole bunch of pastors, and you just going to have to train everybody on this stuff, man, how to deal with these folk with mental health issues. I'm not talking about certify, license them completely, because I know it's a whole lot more to it. But y'all, counseling is not mental health counseling. That's two different things. Jesus. Okay, so, woosah. Let's do a recap. And I'm done with this. Families failing mental health. The community itself failing mental health. Agencies are failing in the mental health. And individuals, watch this, who have these issues and they know they need help, need to be seen by somebody, but won't take the meds, won't do anything, don't want to talk to anybody, ticking time bombs. Y'all hear me? You're failing yourself, even in that instance. If you know you need counseling, you know you need help with some issues, y'all, there are people out here that are licensed that can and will help. But also at the same time, it starts with you. Don't nobody know, I hate to say this word, but it's true. Nobody know the demons you're dealing with but you. As to the extent of how they're moving you. Y'all hear me, man. We have got to get better. Y'all please share this. I mean, I'm hey, I ain't tripping. I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I ain't scared. I ain't scared to tell a chief of police. I'm not scared to tell a sheriff. I'm not afraid to tell mayors and board of supervisors and aldermen and councilmen and women that you are wrong. State legislatures, you are wrong. Y'all don't think about this stuff until it is a catastrophe happens. New York, Brooklyn. Now here we are. We're serious. I told y'all these are the stuff I dealt with local instances. They didn't shoot anybody. But I'm sitting up here telling you they're ticking time bombs. And we don't want to call it that. And they're still in our communities. And they're just waiting. I'm telling y'all, they're waiting on an opportunity. And when they snap out, I hate to use that term, but it's the truth. When they snap, they snap. And now they hurt somebody so bad that the family is now grieving. I don't want that to be my daughter. You don't want that to be your son, my son, our nephews and nieces. I don't want that to happen, man, to a loved one of mine because this could have been controlled and helped. And now the family's grieving. And the joker that did it, I hate to say it like that, the one that did it, the family, he or she comes from a family and they ain't got nothing. And now this family's left over here having to bury a loved one. And the crazy part is the one that they can't even be sued. Can't even be held liable. And then they're going to be put in an institution for the rest of their life. And that's called prison. Let me go on, break it on in for you. Just in case you didn't know. All prisons and jails do not, hear me y'all, they don't rehabilitate at all. They just lock them away. And then they use that setting, the federal dollars. Y'all hear me? I'm telling you, federal dollars are operating and other folk are getting it. They're using that for something else. Y'all stand by Facebook. Kingdom Purpose TV, thank you for watching. Join me next week, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. as we'll come back with more regarding the church and what we do. Thank you for watching. Let's Talk Real Talk.